All right, we're back. I hate my life sometimes as a streamer. I really do. Excuse me 1 second.
Oh, first. Oh, first.
What is today? The 1st? So this is from today? All right, so I gotta delete this. All right. Okay. I'll have to edit everything else out and get it to you at a later time or something. I can't do it on the I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. I did a stupid, I did a dumb, and I'm a moron. And I hate myself, and I hate being stupid, and I hate myself. It didn't even occur to me. That's how dumb I am. It didn't even occur to me, though. It didn't even occur to me. That's the thing. It's like it didn't even pass my mind. And I would have never even noticed had you not mentioned it. It didn't even occur to me. I'm such a fucking idiot. But yes, we can talk about Supreme Court decisions from today if you like. That's fine. I don't want to talk anymore. Game audio is too loud. Yeah, I need to adjust it back down. Sorry. Forgot to adjust the game audio back down. You're right. Sorry about that. MSNBC had an article saying Trump lost the immunity battle. He did not. He won. And I can't even believe they wrote that article, to be honest, because they could have probably foreseen that he was going to win something. So, yeah. Trump has immunity, basically, is the long story short of today. And then there's some nebulous middle ground, and I don't really know what's going on, and it's very confusing, and I don't like it. The court is on a quest to irritate Uncivil law. That's the only possible explanation, and it irritate every possible other court for that matter too. For that matter. But Trump is immune is the long story short. And anything else is going to take a long time to figure out. And I assume they will, but it's going to take a long time. So there's no trials anywhere in our near future for Georgia or DC. I don't think this impacts the trial in Florida. But this, but that case is stalled under its own terms. So, maybe. Sarah Boone has a new letter. Sarah Boone has another new letter? Seriously? Are you serious? There's another letter from Sarah Boone? How many pages is this one? Now I got boots. Sweet. If there's a new Sarah Boone later, I will read it on stream. So if someone could drop it in my Discord or something, if there's another one, I will read the stupid. Because I could use the mental break. So if there's another letter, I'll read it. As I slowly tear my eyes out. I'm playing on emulator. Am I surprised? A little bit. Especially one so soon. I mean, a little. I would have thought maybe that, you know, you're your own lawyer might cause a moment of reflection, but I guess that was a dumb thing to think, so. Yeah, that's the suitcase killer later. That sure is. How is there more stupid when it comes to Sarah Boone? I feel like I just answered my own question, though, on that one, so feel free to not answer it anymore. I realized halfway through asking the question that I was answering my own question. Boy. I just have to finish the question out of obligation at this point. So yeah, it's like, yeah. It's 58 pages? Really? The new one is 58 pages? Wasn't the other new one like only 40-something pages? This one's 50-something pages? Really? I keep asking these questions like I should be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. In any possible sense, I shouldn't be subscribed. My brain hurts. Where's my 58 pages of glory? Someone give me my 58 pages of glory. I demand it. Only new ones though. I'm unless it was filed in the last like 24 hours or something, you know. Shit. That's not a success, I don't think. Oh, I did. I succeeded. Nice. Who Sarah Boone locked her lover into a suitcase and he died. And she's insane. She is proof don't stick your dick in crazy, I guess. There's no new letter? Oh, thank God. I was worried I was gonna have to read something. Parody letter? I'm not even sure you could write a parody letter, even if you wanted to. I don't think you could write a parody letter even if you tried. She is beyond parody, man. She is defamation proof. She is defamation proof. She is beyond parody. Yeah, just feel free to make up anything you want about her, man. Oh, Lord. Ah, I was supposed to be able to nab him. Then he runs away and I get paused him. I'll get him. Is she breaded or unbreaded? Dude, no. Just no. Yes, the Katie address is still good for mail. Alright. I thought he gave me something. I'll get protesters outside the trial. What's the point? I don't know. Freedom of speech, I guess. I don't know if there needs to be a point. Because we want to? Okay. Turtlebot boy got assaulted. I know that was true a couple of days ago. Did he get assaulted again? They can't stop assaulting him? Won't stop assaulting him? Go. Where's the net for the bug catcher? It's like, isn't a little kid who has the bug catcher? I can't find him though. So I need the bug catcher for the. Up, down, left, right, BA, start, select. You've now unlocked the verdict in the Karen retrial. If only it worked that way, my friend. If only it worked that way. I don't think any Konami code is going to help us on this one, my friends. No Konami code for you. IDDQD. ID SPI SPOPD, isn't it? in the original Doom? Did I get that right? After 30 years, I might have. Oh my god. ID, SPI, SPOPD. Holy shit. Dude, how do I have that memory locked down? Holy god. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Oh, so there's like something on a bookcase where there's a book I need on one of these. It's just been a while trying to remember which one's in. But there's a book on one of the shelves I need, or it's somewhere around here. Do we win a prize if we get the verdict before the if we win the game before the Karen Reed verdict? Yeah, speed run any percent Karen Reed verdict. The speed run any percent Karen Reed verdict is not going great. They're coming back hung. We all know they're coming back hung. There's no chance they're not coming back hung at this point. It's all over but the crying. We know how it's going. Oh, there's I think that's a hole in the wall, isn't it? Yeah. Does a mistrial count as a verdict? Nope. It does not. No, mistrial doesn't count as a verdict. Can I sue Ramen for claiming it's rating 3 minutes? No, I don't think so. There was like a lawsuit on that issue really recently with like Kraft Mac and Cheese or someone would try to sue like based on the directions. It took time to open the box and stuff like that. And the court was like, get lost. Yeah, no. I appreciate your enthusiasm though. Told my wife about hung juries and she started shoplifting. I don't know, man. I have a $10 bet. I have a $10 bet going that the DA is going to retry the case. Which, if I have to pay out that $10 bet, I'll be very happy. That's fine too. If the DA comes out and says we're not retrying, I'll happily pay the $10 bet. Can they ask for a judgment if there's a mistrial? Yes. It wouldn't be a JNOV, strictly speaking. It would be a directive verdict, and yes, they can still ask for a directive verdict for not guilty, which the judge should grant, but will absolutely not grant. But they should. Link to the Past Ramanizer? I've seen that before. I've never played it before. But it would be interesting trying to do a randomizer. I'm not even sure how that would work in practice, but I guess people do it, so I guess it works fine in practice. I've never tried the randomizer. We could try the randomizer. It might be interesting. Maybe I'll play a little bit longer, and maybe we'll play the randomizer. That could be fun. Let's do something I've never done before. Okay. Why is the hung trial not acquittal? Just rules. No particular reason. Just because that's the way it's always been. I don't know what to tell you beyond that. That's the way it's been. That's the way it's... That's the common law tradition. I have a wish. I have a wish that there would be a not guilty verdict. That's my wish. Does the book help me with my wishes if I make a wish here? Because I'm making a wish. I will try to cut up the stuff dealing with the Supreme Court and like re-upload it or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll figure out something. Or I'll just like re-edit out the part that I need to edit out. But I can't do it on the fly. It's not easy to do it on the fly. I definitely can't do it and do this at the same time, which I'd much prefer to do this. So we'll just live for the moment. What about uncommon law tradition? Well, there's not really a thing, but yeah. It's not autism, it's just that from time to time I play the game, and then from time to time as I can spare a moment of attention, I just look at the chat real fast, and then I answer your question using a different part of my brain. I am not autistic, and I resent the implication. Give some more insights on Trooper Paul. That's okay. It's not worthy of my time. Also, it doesn't particularly hurt that I'm playing a game that I played a lot in the past. You know, I mean, it's still a long time ago in the past, but I still have memory. So I can concentrate a bit more because I don't have to, like, learn things for the first time. I mean, we're going on 30-year-old memories, but still, you know, they're in there somewhere. Yeah, Massachusetts has a morality instruction. You have to be able to convict to a moral certainty, which is particularly strong language. And still they're having trouble somehow. Not really a great sign when it comes to the power of juries, because, like, if you're convicting to a moral certainty, man, I don't know, man. Damn. This is a boss level in Zelda, yes. Memory's not exhausted? Apparently not. Apparently there's still some more memory to go. Could the FBI monitor jurors' bank accounts? They need a warrant for that. But the FBI can investigate, like, they have to have evidence of a crime, but they can investigate. Different people have different morals? I suppose so. And apparently some of those morals include person... I mean, I've said before there's like a 5% base chance to convict just because the defendant's sitting at the defense table. And I think this validates that. So my own statements I've made in the past are just confirming what I've already said. It's like, yeah, there's just a group of people who will convict just because you're sitting there. I mean, that's the bottom line. No, Barnes and I haven't talked. And I have no plans to do so in the future. Barnes acted by banning everybody who disagreed with him. To me, that showed his character. I have no interest in talking to the man. You know, there's a reason, like, basically everyone disagrees with Barnes. Because everyone who's actually a lawyer, actually applying the law, it's like we know he's wrong. Everyone knows he's wrong. It's not even that Barnes has gone off into conspiracy land. It's just that his legal analysis doesn't make sense. It's just wrong. And unfortunately, this is not a new problem. I remember having the same feeling about Barnes years ago, which was basically the last time we had anything resembling any kind of friendship. But since then, it's like, you know, since I was like, you know, you're basically just wrong. You know, I called him out. I did a whole stream about it, and you know, it's like, yeah, it's just bullshit. It's more polemic than a legal analysis. It's more something than a legal analysis. It's like a statement of what he wishes the law would be. This is his problem. You know, it's just as opposed to a statement about what the law is. It's like, that's not a correct statement of law. It's not even close to a correct statement of law. No attempt to apply actual legal standards or actually explain them. It's, you know, it's just... And also, what limited discussions I have had, I haven't really found an attempt by him to engage in an intellectually honest way. He just, you know, steamrolls people. So, it's annoying. But when he banned Nate on Twitter for just disagreeing with him, that's when I was like, okay, this is not a serious person. So I banned him out of retaliation, which I don't even know if he banned me first, and I don't care. I mean, you guys know how much I hated Chevron. I never pretended it wasn't the law, though. You know, I railed against it. I never said, oh, I said I think the Supreme Court was full of shit, but I never pretended it wasn't the law. And I never failed to do a Chevron analysis and tell you, like, yeah, it's probably legal because Chevron. Ooh. You know, the Chevron analysis usually was like, well, you know, Chevron was usually the end of the analysis because it's basically what it boiled down to. It's like, I could make it more complicated, but why? Right? It's like, I could make this more complicated with steps and everything, but why? So, but I never said, oh, this isn't the law. So, annoying. And also, like earlier in the earlier stream, we were talking about Andrea, who is incredibly wicked smart. And she said something on a stream, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. But I know she's wicked smart. And so it's like, okay, something's wrong here. Because this is an area of her expertise. You know, she does criminal defense. That's what she does. And she's incredibly intelligent. And so we were talking about, oh, the reasonable jury. And like, oh, there's a reasonable jury standard. She's basically, no, there's not. There's not a reasonable jury standard. And I'm like, I think there is. But I also recognize that she's incredibly smart and it's in her domain. So I'm like, okay, maybe the issue is that in her jurisdiction they use other language, but it's kind of the same thing. Or maybe she didn't understand what I was saying. Or, you know, because I've done that before where I've said something and then listened back to it. I'm like, damn, I can't believe I said that. That was wrong. All right, I've done that before. And so it's like, maybe there's, but it's like, okay. Or maybe somehow I'm mistaken, but it's like, maybe there's some, but it's like, oh, this requires further inquiry. Because I, you know, actually respect her and her intelligence. And her knowledge and her thoroughness and everything else. Professional jury would not be a jury of your peers. If both parties consented to it, I guess, but you'd have to get both parties to consent to it. Because it wouldn't be a jury of your peers anymore. Did I cover the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act? I did not, and I promised I would. Thank you for reminding me. All right, let me figure out what the hell this is. The name doesn't mean anything to me, but let me look it up real fast. Because I said if you guys reminded me, I'd discuss it. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, let me look at this up real fast. All right, where the hell am I? All right, what the hell? 2012? Right. Well, that's not. Which one? 1945? Modernization Act. Okay. So no. All right. Let's see. So 2013? Okay. What does the law allow that wasn't allowed before? The new legislation eases restrictions and allow agencies and broadcasters to respond positively to requests from the United States. That doesn't really help me. All right, so let me try to figure out exactly what this act does. What is this thing? Modernization Act of 2012 amends the act to authorize Secretary of State to provide for preparation and dissemination of information intended for foreign policy abroad in the United States. Okay. All right. All right. So let's see. Okay. Amends the act to authorize Secretary of State to provide for preparation and dissemination of information intended for foreign audiences abroad about the United States through press, publication, radio, motion picture, internet, and other information media, including social media. Under current law, such authority is restricted to information disseminated abroad with limited domestic exception. Okay. So this allows for information intended for foreign use to also be in the United States because of social media. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, that kind of makes sense. All right, what else can I learn about this thing? Okay. So the Broadcasting Board of Governors. Who is the Broadcasting Board of Governors? What the hell is that? U.S. Agency for Global Media. Okay, whatever. So the law allows for. Okay. The Modernization Act allows to accept requests for providing programming to organizations which until now could not share with, including U.S.-based broadcasters, publications, university, non-government organizations, others have requested the materials. Okay. So, all right, fine. So we have this entity which is producing content for foreign consumption that is not intended for domestic consumption. And now it can be shared with domestic entities apparently who want it. So that makes sense. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, okay, that makes sense, I suppose, as far as it goes. And then, of course, the wide dissemination of information by the internet made the prohibitions very meaningless, which, fair enough as far as it goes. That's a problem. When they introduced programming, government employees were forbidden from giving out URLs, and U.S. citizens were forbidden from accessing those websites. Although they had no enforcement mechanism that made accessing the Voice of America internet website a crime. That sounds like some First Amendment bullshit. Yeah, okay. So that sounds fine. So I'm okay. So stuff that was initially produced for foreign consumption can now be received by Americans, which so you now have the ability to understand what the government is doing. That's nice. So that makes sense. All right, fair. All right, cool. All right, I'm not sure what more I can say about that. Foreign propaganda okay domestically? Yeah, basically, that's one way of putting it. All right, I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Ow. Excuse me. case get decided in the 5 seconds I was gone? No? Okay. All right. Let's go back to gaming. Get the margins correct on this thing again. All right. Okay, cool. All right, that'll get the margins correct. All right, good. Back to the game. No, she's not incarcerated. I do not believe, no. I believe she's out on bail. Dave's Classic? Yeah. Wendy makes a good burger. I'm lost. Yeah, mistrial would mean she would stay out. That's right. Bail conditions would continue. That's right. I'm still wishing for a not guilty. Am I using a keyboard? No, I'm using a controller. Just a simple USB controller, nothing fancy. Like $10 on Amazon. No name brand SNES Bluetooth controller, which I plugged in just to prevent from losing any battery, so our gaming won't be interrupted. Breakfast Baconator is pretty good, I will agree. It's dangerous, though. In case of mistrial, do charges automatically get refiled? No, it's up to the prosecutor. They usually have to make a decision within some set period of time by law. Which I imagine that... I'd be slightly surprised if they didn't say, you know, today they're going to refile and then maybe change their decision quietly later. But I'd be surprised if they didn't, like, say, if they kept their options open today. I'd be surprised if they came out today and said, we're not going to refile. Assuming there's a mistrial. You know, I imagine they're going to come forward and be like, you know, we know we have a good case and we're going to press charges and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, and then they might quietly change their mind later, but you know. I'm playing this on an emulator. SNES 9X, in case you care. Classic emulator. The bail conditions would continue until the time period for refiling would lapse. So, you know, the bail will be continued while the DA is making a decision. There's what I'm looking for. Now I'm just not clear. Okay. Anything happened in the Supreme Court today? Yeah, a couple things happened today. The Administrative State took a pretty serious blow today. So that's like Chevron plus. So I got another little bit of Chevron glory today. So basically it allows for anyone to bring a challenge to basically any federal regulation. The statute of limitations to bring action doesn't lapse until it lapses for you. So basically there's now a perpetual clock. Because, you know, basically there's someone new all the time. You know, today will be the first day that a particular regulation impacts somebody. So there's now a perpetual clock. So it makes it much easier to challenge federal regulations. So that's pretty cool. So that was a big deal. And then we had the Trump immunity case, which we discussed, which gave me a headache. And then what else was decided? There was another one that was decided today. What was the other one? Does she get her bail money back if she paid full bail? Yes. If not, then she only gets back. Depends if she paid the full amount or not. So if she did a bail bondsman like everyone else does, then no. You don't get that back. That's the deal, right? So typically in most states you have a bail bondsman, right? You give 10%. You lose that money. That's gone, right? You pay 10% as a fee. They put up the rest of it. And, you know, then that's it. If you pay the full thing, then yes, you would get you would get it back. Net neutrality was the other case, yeah, in which they punted. No wonder I didn't remember it. Because like, is uncivil law right? Still don't know. Still don't know if uncivil law is right. So it was very annoying. So we don't know. The mystery continues. I also, if we get bored, I could reread the decision with the other day, where I don't even remember what they said now, but there was a decision the other day which, like, where I was confused. All right, so how do I get to like other floors? Because I'm stuck. Where's the up floor? Oh yeah, the social media censorship, net choice. I was like, I'm not quite sure. So we could do some net choice analysis and try to figure out what the hell the court decided. With social media no, it wasn't net choice. That's the one we decided. The other one dealing with Raimondo versus whatever, dealing with whether or not the White House improperly interfered with the social media companies. Because I didn't quite understand that from the abstract. I didn't quite understand what was going on. There was an issue of like, who did we sue, and there were some issues. So, Nintendo ever lose copyright? Yes. Will they hold perpetually due to trademark? They'll hold the trademark as long as they keep it alive. But those are separate legal concepts, just like they are in Disney. Like Disney lost the copyright to Mickey Mouse, but not the trademark. So, yeah, they're distinct legal concepts. Oh, I have to open those things. That's why. All right, I got it. All right, so I open those things, and that's how I get on the top. Okay, I understand now. I understand now. Uncivil stopped being dumb for a little moment. Do we react on immunity? Yes. I got very confused. Because the Supreme Court didn't give me enough information. The short term is that a trial for Donald Trump is nowhere in sight. And his conviction in New York is in serious legal jeopardy and probably needs to be vacated in light of this decision. So, yeah. So, there's no further trials of Donald Trump in sight. That's the short version. The long version is, I don't know. Because they didn't tell me. Which is very annoying. But the administrative state is in serious trouble, which is good news. I'm hungry now. Now I want, like, a burger. Okay, this is going to be challenging. Yeah. Shit. Shit. Oh, well. What do you think the jury's talking about? Are they talking about their mutual hatred and loathing of each other? I know I hate the jury. The jury's full of dumbs, and I don't like dumbs. I like smarts. Alright, let's give this another go. Come on, die, you sucker. Damn, how many hits these things take? There's one. There's two. Come on, baby. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, I need a break for lunch because I haven't eaten and I'm hungry. So I'm gonna take a little break for lunchtime, and I'll be back. I'll probably be back in like 10 minutes or something. Probably not that long. Just need a little nosh, and we can hang out some more. I will return shortly.
You are unmuted.
Thank you. Be seated. Closing session.
22117 Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
All right, the jury is at an impasse. So we'll bring them in.
Okay, kids. Here we go. Here we go. It's over. It's over. Second, I step away for food.
All right, Mr. Foreman, I am in receipt of your note. Judge Cannoni, despite our rigorous efforts, we continue to find ourselves at an impasse. Our perspectives on the evidence are starkly divided. Some members of the jury firmly believe that the evidence surpasses the burden of proof, establishing the elements of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Conversely, others find the evidence fails to meet this standard and does not sufficiently establish the necessary elements of the charges. The deep division is not due to a lack of effort or diligence, but rather a sincere adherence to our individual principles and moral convictions. To continue to deliberate would be futile and only serve to force us to compromise these deeply held beliefs. I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your service is complete. I'm declaring a mistrial in this case. I'll be in to see you privately in a few minutes. So thank you so much for your service. Okay.
All rise for the court, please.
That's it. Game over. That's it. Mistrial. No verdict. Short of a directed verdict happening in the next 5 seconds, which not so much now. But you know, hey, maybe we'll get lucky. And that note was very, very written by a lawyer, for sure, 100%.
Thank you. Be seated. Court is still in session.
All right. I'd like to pick a status date to find out what our next move is. So I'd like to come back sometime maybe the end of July. I understand people have vacation schedules.
Are you not going to ask for a
Can we
directed
come in
verdict?
the
I
week
guess
of the
it's pointless.
21st?
That's fine.
No, I'm just looking at my calendar. Could we do the 22nd at 2 p.m., Your Honor? And I would hear from my client.
Is there another day that week? Could you do the 25th or 26th?
Unfortunately, I think I'm supposed to be for vacation on the 25th.
Okay, the 22nd and the 24th are not great dates. So
Okay. What about the 19th and 9th? Is that whole week?
no, that week's not good. Teaching that I cannot get out of.
Can we do August 7th, 8th, 9th? Any of those days?
No, we'll do the 22nd. We'll go back to the 22nd at 2. I can't let it go that long.
Your Honor, so the court knows Ms. Little and I are not available on the 22nd. We have a hearing in Los Angeles on the 22nd.
Okay.
We're proposing to appear remotely anyway.
Okay.
But for a status conference, I don't want the court to think it's disrespectful to the court, but Ms. Little and I probably will not.
Okay. So you and your client will be here in person, Ms. Giannetti.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll see you then.
All right, that's it.
All rise.
That's the end of the game. And now we're just waiting for the post conferences. And we'll see what if one of the jurors or more wants to speak? And I'm slightly surprised the defense didn't ask for a directed verdict, but apparently they didn't. I guess they thought it was futile. I guess they can do it in writing. There's no reason to do it orally. They can ask for it in writing and ask for a directed verdict, which I imagine they'll file. So, you know. Oh, Lord. So now we're just waiting for the post-trial conferences by the prosecution, defense, and potential jurors. And then we're coming back on the 22nd for status conference, wherein they will decide, or at least start to decide, whether or not they want to retry this thing. So, we'll see. Do you think there'll be another trial? I have $10 says that there is. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. I have $10 they're going to retry it. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. Why are we setting new court dates? We're setting a date for a status conference. Just like, where are we? Just pure status, nothing else. Fan, ever reliable, is here to watch. Yep, that's just the end of it, and I'm very, very disappointed. Incredibly disappointed. It looks like Law and Crime might be ending its stream. So we'll have to see who is going to have stream for Karen Reed. Yeah, mistrial. Mistrial. No verdict. No decision. No decision. The feds might be around before trial too. Could be. Could be. So we'll have to see. I'm assuming there's going to be a post-trial conference, and we'll have to see. Baldwin case is up next. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be streaming it along with some of my fellow other law tubers. I'm going to try to have lunch while I'm waiting. So forgive me as I eat, please. I got some sort of chicken here with some nice broccoli. $5 for maximum biking. Thank you very much. Why new court date? Just a status. Literally, where are we? What's happening? What's next? Just a status conference. You know, like, do you intend to retry this? What are you thinking? All that stuff. You know, status is for, you know, where are we? So, you know. I'm going to cover Baldwin, yeah. I don't want to eat on camera. The mouth noises are not good. So I'm going to try to take a break, and if the court comes back, I'll try to capture that too. I'll leave on desktop audio just in case there's audio randomly. But I'll be back. Don't worry. I'm just eating. All right, I'm back. I'm just waiting for the post conferences, and then we can wrap up this thing. I got a copyright claim on the Legend of Zelda music. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, Lord. Any chance I can jump on now to react to Mistrial? Sure. So STS wants me to jump on. Sure. Why not? Yeah. Overall thoughts on Lally handling the case? All right. Check 1 2. This might not work. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. No, that doesn't work. I have to do this in Chrome. It doesn't work really well in Firefox. Check 1 2. Look great, sound great. Look great, sound great. All right, great. And make sure my audio is set appropriately. Yes, it is. Make sure it's set appropriately here. It is correct. Yes. Okay, great.
Into them and finding out if that was the case. Then they're going to have to obviously take some precautions on the next one.
Tim, I'm going to ask you the same question. I mean, what can you do? I think the rain's starting to come down there. What can you do to protect jurors from either side here so they don't feel intimidated? We don't know for sure if that's the case, but it could certainly be the case. What can you do to protect jurors?
Well, she could have sequestered the jury. They could have moved the trial outside of Dedham. And I know they traveled on a bus, but they probably should find a way to have them walk in a back door, maybe instead of the front where they would buffer these people off. Maybe they could have them where they're, the buffer on these people is farther away so that the jury wouldn't have to see them every day. I can tell you they were loud. And I think I asked a couple of people, do you think the jurors can hear you? And they said, oh yeah, this is an old courtroom with those single pane windows. There's no doubt that they could hear the people outside.
From Courtney H. Tim, they want to know, you mentioned this earlier in the show today when you were live. When would we find out the split of how the jurors voted? Are you saying, and by the way, the judge said she was going to meet with the jurors privately. She did say that out loud, but is the only way we're going to find this out is if the jurors speak after the case right now, after the trial?
That's right. And I think the judge, I don't know why she's meeting them privately. She probably can, probably telling them they can speak if they want to speak. They don't have to speak. Don't let, you don't want to speak, let somebody know. But she can do that in the courtroom in the public eye. Every time you meet with a jury, the judge or anybody, that leads to suspicion that something's going on. Now, I don't know if anything's going on. She could give that instruction to them in the courtroom with the witnesses and with the media present, that they don't have to accept, or they can speak to people. I think you're going to get someone speak out. I think some of those jurors are frustrated, and I think some of them want to speak out.
We've just added uncivil law to the chat here. To the group of best guests. Uncivil, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Just your reaction to this mistrial being declared.
I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. It's very clear that whoever wrote that note is obviously a lawyer, because they're using all the right legal phraseology. So I did appreciate the technicality of the way it was written, but I'm deeply surprised that, especially with the moral certainty instruction that Massachusetts gives, and also with the other instructions that the judge gave, including, for example, the ability to use the shoddiness of the investigation as a factor, which was a nice win for the defense in getting that particular instruction. And also they didn't get the consciousness of guilt instruction, which was also a nice win for the defense and the instructions. I'm surprised that there is a juror out there who cannot find a reason to doubt, because it's like, where do you want me to start counting is sort of where I'm at. So I don't know what that's thinking of. I'll be surprised if it wasn't incredibly lopsided for not guilty.
Well, it was interesting. If you're reading between the lines, it sounds like it's more than one for guilty. If you're reading that note, and I don't have it in front of me, but I'm trying to get it. But if it was a more even ratio of 8-4 or 7-5, you'd be really surprised by that, it sounds.
Yeah. This is a problem when you have like one strong personality that tend to sway other people, or they can. But I'd be surprised, because for my money, there's clearly reasonable doubt. If you believe the defense in its closing with that image of the car, and they say, okay, this is the car at 5:07 in the morning, and here's a picture of the car at that time, I'm seeing an awful lot of red coming from what should be a shattered taillight. And they say, okay, this taillight was shattered 3 hours earlier, and here it is intact on this image. I'm like, no. So I just don't know how you look at that in combination with other evidence and come to a conclusion of guilt to a moral certainty. It seems absurd to me.
Yeah. Sky Lazaro, thank you for joining us. As always, we got the power crew here. It's pouring down on Tim Jansen, I think. Tim, I'm actually going to keep you muted so I can hear that rain. But Sky, your reaction, the jury, the judge said it in very succinct terms. The jury is at an impasse. I've declared a mistrial. Your thoughts?
I'm not surprised by this. I know we talked about this a little bit last week, and the jury seemed pretty deadlocked then. So, not entirely surprised. And I'm a little bit not up to speed. I just got out of court and I'm sitting in front of the jail in my car. So,
Well, stay safe there. And if you're more comfortable heading back to the office and then you want to hop on whatever you want to do, I don't want to.
I'm actually clear down in southern Utah, so I can hang out for a few minutes and then
All right.
have to jump off.
Thank you. We're going to go around the horn here. Rob D'Amico, this is your world. 70s, 80s vintage. I'm going to bring it up for a sec 'cause I don't want to block Sky's face, which I'm doing by bringing this up. But they should not retry this case, period. The feds need to warn him. And tons of public needs to be brought to stop. The question here is there's all this talk about a federal investigation. And I've heard rumblings of investigation now into potential jury intimidation. We have not officially heard anything along those lines, but there's been rumblings of all this. What will the feds do now, Rob D'Amico, and how do they do it?
Well, I mean, whatever investigation they have going on, they're obviously going to finish out. Jury intimidation's more than a protest group chanting. If that intimidated someone, that is more logistics of that courthouse. But they will have to look into if any of the jurors said that they were intimidated directly, be it on the street, be it voicemails, all kinds of other ways to do it. If that's the case, then investigation is going to happen. But I think the protesting, the noise out there, that was just poor logistics of not keeping your protesters to the point where they couldn't be heard in the courthouse. And I think they may not have had that ever before, so they didn't know. But the first time that started happening, they really should have started looking at having a distance where that wasn't going on, that the jury could even hear it. So again, it may be if they retry it that they're going to have to move to a different location. They're going to have better logistics in how they deal with protesters. But if there's any direct threats, if any of the jury were contacted personally on the street in person or via any other means, that they're going to have to investigate that. But the federal investigation is going to go down the course that it is. And then we'll see where that comes up and see what they're investigating.
Kurt of Uncivil Law, Kurt Mueller. I just don't know how in the world from Ben Mannion here you can find an impartial jury at this point. It seems to me that is impossible, at least in the Canton-Dedham area. What would happen if the Commonwealth decides to move forward with retrying this case? How do you find an impartial jury?
Well, you kind of do the same thing you do for a normal jury. You just do more of it. So what you do to find a jury, typically speaking, is you send out some sort of jury questionnaire, and then you do the voir dire of the jury when they come in there to ask them questions. So what you do is you just do more. You send out more questionnaires, you ask more questions, you do a more extensive voir dire. It just takes longer and is more thorough. The idea of transferring it to a different venue is disfavored these days, strongly disfavored. So if you can find a large enough population to find a group of people that are not biased by this, then fine. And to be fair, although of course all of us are deeply familiar with it, there are a lot of people who I'm sure have no particular idea that this case is going on or been following it with any degree of closeness or care. A lot of people just going on in their day-to-day lives, and there are a lot of other issues that people could choose to care about. We only have so much mental bandwidth. So trying to find 12 people that really have no particular idea or no particular misconception of this law or this case is not necessarily as difficult as it might appear, especially if you're talking about a large population center.
And Kurt brings up a great point, because I can tell you firsthand, when I was on the book tour, I went to Canton, Mass. When I was in Boston, and I was at the Waterfall Bar and Grill, and I was literally in that location and stopped a few people who had never heard about this, which was sort of mind-boggling. But that goes to Kurt's point. Not everyone is obsessed with true crime. Not everyone is obsessed with this particular case. It is possible, but as Kurt said, I guess you'd have to do a little bit more due diligence to get there. Sky Lazaro from Elazal Company. My gut tells me no one from this jury is going to want to speak, followed by Annie K's question here. How will some jurors' privacy be protected now if others want to talk, especially if this was a lone holdout, which doesn't sound like to me, but what do I know? I'm sitting in a studio in Miami. But to the greater point, Sky Lazaro, how are jurors protected if, let's say, 2 of them want to speak, but the other 10 want nothing to do with the media.
Jurors are usually instructed by the judge when they're dismissed about being contacted by others. They're told that if they want to speak at this point, they can, or they don't have to. As far as privacy, I'm not sure if there is a lot. Some of these other panelists may have some thoughts on it, but I'm not sure that there is a lot that really can be done. I would think there's probably some instruction that's given to the jury about other jurors and their right to privacy, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, this is a great comment here from Jury Duty RN. We may hear from these attorneys at any moment. Space Coast, I know you're juggling a lot, but if you can keep an eye on the local stations there that we're streaming it, we might get some live coverage of a media scrum with these attorneys and or the Commonwealth. So we'll keep an eye out for that. And if we miss it live, we'll get it to you on tape. A question, Tim Jansen, to you, and I'm going to unmute you right now. Jerry Michael wants to know if we could hear the protesters cheering at the end here, and the judge heard that. Why didn't she put a stop to it or have more stringent restrictions on these demonstrators? You were there today. I mean, how far from the courtroom were they?
They were right across the street from the courthouse. I'd say about 50 or 60 steps from the courthouse, and they could be heard. They were positioned right where the defense lawyers and Karen were staying. So whenever they came out, there was always cheering, free, Karen Reed, and they were very vocal. But most point, they weren't vocal at all unless there was some activity happening. They were pretty quiet. Now, there was one lady that did some stuff, but and the people in blue were farther away, even a further block away, and you couldn't even see them or hear them, really. There was only about 20 of them versus I think they had like 5 or 6, I think about 500 people in pink.
Yeah, I'm looking. By the way, Tim is no longer at the courthouse. He had to take off, but the rain is coming down. Is that right, Tim?
It's pouring thunder and lightning. Supposed to rain, so I don't think they're doing any press conference outside until the rain stops.
And I'm looking at video. They are demonstrating quite loudly. The Free Karen Reed protesters, or demonstrators, I should say, in the rain. So the rain hasn't stopped them. And according to the COE, I don't know if this was in the courtroom, that Alan Jackson gave a few words. Karen Reed said nothing. Sky Lazaro, what do you think is going on with Alan Jackson right now? He basically put his entire life into this case over the last probably year. It's a 9-week trial. He lives in Los Angeles. Now it comes to this kind of unfulfilled end that's open-ended. Do you think he stays on this case? They'd have to, obviously the Reeds would have to pay him an exorbitant amount of money to do this. Is it feasible? What do you think's going on in terms of Alan Jackson in this case moving forward?
Yeah, mistrials are hard because you spend so much time preparing for trial, and then especially in this case, in trial. At the end of the day, a mistrial it's still a win for the defense in my mind. I know you always feel when you get these like, man, am I gonna have to do this again? You're exhausted. Is my client gonna want to pay me to do it again? Is the state even gonna pursue charges, or try to retry her, with this pending federal investigation? So I'm sure there's a lot of things going through his mind, but some of it is probably some disappointment in the mistrial and not having some finality. But, at the end of the day, he did a good job defending his client, and, she wasn't convicted of anything. So you got to take that win for what it is.
By the way, some breaking news already from Christina Rex, who's one of our best guests and a reporter for the local I think it's an NBC affiliate, WBZ. Kurt Mueller, the Commonwealth, has already announced that they plan to retry this case against Karen Reed. This obviously would be before they know the jury breakdown. Is this just political posturing, or is this reality, Kurt?
I'm not surprised at all. I expected them to do exactly that. They obviously can change their mind, and if they want to, they probably would do so quietly on a Friday when no one's paying attention. But I would expect them to go out there and be there's exactly what they've said all along. We believe in this case. We believe she's guilty. We have a vigorous case. Members of the jury obviously believed our case, and next time we'll have a jury that will understand and make sure to agree with us completely. So I'd expect nothing less than the Commonwealth to say that this.
Yeah, there you go. Kurt of Uncivil Law expects it. Rosemary Romero with a question for Tim Jansen. Could they revoke Karen Reed's bond? I think she's still under a bond. She's been home this whole time. What happens to her now, Tim Jansen?
Well, they can't revoke her bond unless she violated it in some way. She came to court every day. She was never held in any kind of contempt. She was never late for court that I'm aware of. And there was never a question that she wasn't going to be in court. So I don't see a basis for revoking her bond. I think her bond should be same as it was before. As far as the district attorney coming out with a knee-jerk reaction like that, that seems awful quick before he hears from the jury what they thought of the case. And it could be a political maneuver to show confidence in his case, but I'd be a little leery about the confidence in his case if it took him 9 weeks to present it, and then he doesn't even know he didn't get a.
Oh dear.
I think that's a little bold for the district attorney.
Yeah, Rob D'Amico, just to add to that, I have the exact statement here. This is a statement, a written statement. This is not an oral.
They had it ready to go. Of course they did.
Yeah, you know they did, because you couldn't have gotten it out this quick. But this is from Norfolk DA Michael Morrissey. This is the exact reading of the statement. A mistrial has been declared in the matter of Commonwealth v. Karen Reed. Judge Beverly Cannoni set a status conference date of July 22nd, 2024 at 2 p.m. in the Norfolk Superior Court. First, we thank the O'Keefe family for their commitment and dedication to this long process. They maintained sight of the true core of this case to find justice for John O'Keefe. The Commonwealth intends to retry the case. Strong words, Rob. Them is fighting words, somebody would say. What do you think of that? So soon, obviously a prepared statement. They just filled in some of the blanks the minute this ended.
Yeah, I had no doubt they'd have a prepared statement saying the exact same thing. Where we believe in this, but as your guest said, yeah, if they really look at it and it was a 10-2 or something really bad on a Friday when there's other bigger news, they'll just put that in there that they're not going to try. So I think he had to come out with that, and I think he had to come out strong, show support for everything, and we're going to go back at this, and then they're going to start looking at the details to see really what the jury count was, if they can figure that out. And they probably, hopefully, were taking some good after-action notes based on how the first one went, saying what do we really have to do to get over all these things, if they can start talking to jurors and figure out maybe some of the jurors that were on the non-guilty side or the guilty side, they can point out some certain things, but the prosecution really has to come out with some big things, because I just don't, again, I don't see how you could have came to the guilty verdict based on the case and the investigation. And I think also the federal investigation is going to come out, and if it's really, really bad, the prosecution's going to have to probably not retry it in a way. So I think he's just those are boisterous words, come out strong and say it, and then they'll start figuring out the details.
All the reporters obviously jumping on the fact that the Commonwealth already says they plan to retry. I think that was Sky Lazaro. We just lost.
I did note their prepared statement didn't appear to thank the jury in their statement, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a great point. Very, very good point. Well taken. They should be thanked for sure. for their work at God knows what, $18 a day or something. Tim Jansen, the decision once again here, this according to one person in our chat, reeks of jury intimidation to me. The judge said she's going to speak to the jurors individually, not individually, but in her chambers or in the deliberation room. It was unclear which. But what does the judge do after a mistrial when they do talk to the jurors? What will she ask them? What will she say to them? Take us through that.
You know, all judges are different. A lot of judges like to find out how they like the process. What can you improve? What was good? What was bad? Now, is she doing some investigation on her own to see if the jury was intimidated or some kind of intimidation, and then determine whether an investigation has to be? I don't know. I don't know what this judge's normal procedure is. You know, if we know what the judge normally does on a hung jury, that would be really important to know. Because if she's acting differently in this case, then it only leads more to the suspicions of this whole entire case. I'd love to, I believe someone is going to speak out. I think one juror, at least one or two jurors, are going to speak out because they probably feel adamant. And I think they're going to say, you know, she might have done it, but the evidence just, we had a reasonable doubt, but for some reason, two jurors just would not listen, would not even deliberate. And if they didn't deliberate, normally I've had it where a note said one juror won't deliberate. I've seen that before, where one juror just folds their arms and says, I'm not deliberating, I'm voting not guilty, or I'm voting guilty.
Oh my God, that's the jury bus behind us.
Ooh.
Guess what? The jury bus is right behind me. They're following me. I got the cops in the jury bus.
What do I do?
Go on, let me see if I can get them on so you can see them.
Turn that camera out the window.
No, don't do
Now,
that.
the question is, where are they dropping them off? That's what I'd like to know.
Can you see it?
Not well.
Yeah,
I
I
can
can
see
see it.
police escort behind you. Yeah, I can see flashing lights.
No. Joel, this is I'm going the extra mile for you today.
Tim Jansen getting us the jury bus. Mish Cavernos asking me if I'm looking forward to the retrial. I definitely need a year break, so it sounds like we're going to get that. I'll be ready a year from now. Tim,
Maybe they can find a different prosecutor, maybe one with a better, presence would be nice. Better vocal variety, less boring.
Yeah, Tim, we can hear that. That is the jury being escorted.
Yep.
Hey, anybody want to talk? I tried, Joel.
Thank you, Tim Jansen. Tim, that was great reporting right there. I'm going to mute you back up for a moment. Sky Lazaro, how about this? I can smell crazy a mile away. She's asking Tim, but I'm going to ask you. Could it be that at this point the prosecutor in Norfolk County knows something from the feds that we don't know and is therefore feeling more confident in retrying Karen Read? What do you think?
I would say probably not. I think just having been involved in DOJ investigations of different either law enforcement or county attorney's offices or universities, they don't usually release anything about their findings until their final report is done. If they are, that probably creates a little bit bigger problem in terms of the interplay between who they're investigating and what they're doing.
To you, Kurt, we just heard obviously that there's a big yell or scream of support, cheers from the crowd after the reading of this mistrial. Is this a win? I mean, how do you see this for Karen Read? Or is it, is it a blunt loss? How do you see it?
Well, anything that's not guilty, anything that's not a guilty, I should say, is obviously at least partially a win because you're not going to prison, and that's obviously a plus. But she has to presumably expend a significant amount of money for her lawyer's time going forward. If we're going to try this thing, we're going to do the whole thing all over again. She's got to pay somebody for all that time. That's a lot of time and a lot of expense that she may not have available. I know she's doing some crowdfunding, but how much that is compared to her legal bills, unclear. So for me, I wanted a directed verdict. I did not get my Christmas. So I'm disappointed. I suppose the judge could still do it in writing, but that seems somewhat unlikely that we're going to get a memo. By the way, having considered directed verdict not guilty, but I'll hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Let me put you on the spot for a second, Kurt. How much do you think a guy like Alan Jackson got paid for this trial, and how much?
Man,
we're talking $1 million here. That's what Tim Jansen was suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, something like $650 an hour, maybe a little bit more because he's LA based, sounds pretty plausible. You factor in all the time that we're doing and all the other witnesses and consultants. I think 7 figures is very realistic.
Tim Jansen, you still stand by that?
Yeah.
Alan Jackson, yeah, you think he got paid in the 7-figure range for this?
This. I'll give you a little hint for.
You're starting to break up, Timbo. But go ahead.
Or a retrial. So you make sure you don't do it. You got to have a retrial fee in there. I believe that. I believe he'll start raising money. I think if you could have those people out there donated like $10, $20 a person, he probably could make quite a bit of money. And most of the work is done already, right? Now it's going to be a matter of cutting and pasting what worked well, what didn't. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did focus groups or mock trials, which can be very expensive. You're talking about $50,000 each one. So I still think he got 6 figures. And it's a win. Today's a win. He got a hung jury. That's a win for a defense lawyer.
7 figures.
7 figures.
Sky Lazaro, what do you think is going on in Karen Reed's mind? I mean, you've had defendants. What is their reaction when it's a mistrial? I mean, if it was me, I'd feel like I'm still on the hook. I mean, we already heard the Commonwealth saying they're going to retry the case. I would not feel like I'm at a, if I'm talking strictly, I'm not saying right, wrong. I'm just saying if I am Karen Reed, I'm feeling like I am still under the microscope. I'm not free of anything. The state is still coming after me. How do your clients respond to a mistrial?
I think that's 100% right. I think, there's an initial relief of, well, they didn't find me guilty, but the reality is, and most of my clients say this, by the time they get to trial or through trial, they want to be done. The idea that now she's still out on bond and they're saying already they're going to try this again, I'm guessing is pretty emotionally taxing on her right now, where you feel like, when is this ever going to be over? A little bit. And that's what I would expect she's feeling. That's kind of the response I get is, oh my God, I have to do this again. And it's, you have all the conversations like, stay strong, you'll get through this again. But that's, that'd be kind of what I would expect she's feeling right now.
Rob D'Amico, Michael Proctor was a key figure in this case, the misogynistic lead investigator who was using the see you next Tuesday word that brought a whole ton of problems to the case for the Commonwealth. What happened? Tim brought up an interesting point. Everyone said this guy is definitely getting fired from the state troopers the minute this thing's over. But what about a retrial? How do you bring on a terminated lead investigator who was terminated because of this case into a new trial? What do you do with him?
Yeah, he was bad enough as a sworn law enforcement officer. If he's fired for this, the reason he was fired is actually discoverable. And then if a federal investigation goes in and they find him for other things, that's all discoverable. So it would just be that rolling down the hill of it, you're doomed on it. So again, if he gets fired, all the details of that firing, if it was for performance of duty and if they found anything untrue, that's discoverable. And then a federal investigation, you're going to start, even if it's not a conviction for, say, civil rights or something like that, or anything on the federal side, that's all discoverable because it goes to the credibility of a witness. So that's going to be a tough hill to climb if that in fact happens.
Kurt, one of the interesting things you see here from Cheswick, some can, in quotes, can be a pejorative word for one person.
Sure.
We know. I mean, I don't know that you have the note from the jurors in front of you. I still don't have it. I'm waiting to get it. But it was just the way it was worded, and I have to reread it because I only heard it in real time. But it sounds like more than one holdout on whatever side it was. But what do you make of this comment? Do you think that maybe they're covering by the word? You know, they could use wording to cover for a single juror. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no particular thoughts. Assuming it's written in the plural, I wouldn't necessarily think anything of it in terms of whether it represents more than one person or not, because it also could depend on their sort of frame of reference. If there have been people in a plurality and now it's left to one person, they could still be thinking of it as the group because it might be subject to change, even if it's only one person right this second, because it's been variable. So if the numbers have been changing, so you still refer to it as a group. So, you know, I don't really think much of it if they refer to it in a plural group sense.
Sky, there was a question, and I saw Boston law requires them to retry within a year, meaning that they would have to start this trial, I guess, by next July 1st of 2025. Assuming they go ahead with a retrial, that's a big assumption. Assuming they go ahead with a retrial, if you're Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, Adam Lally, first of all, is it a certainty that Adam Lally would retry for the Commonwealth? We don't even know if the defense would, but I mean, how do you begin to prepare and when for all this?
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on which attorneys stay on. If Alan or if Lally is replaced or her defense is replaced, you know, whoever gets it is going to want some time to get up to speed and prepare. So, and I think the other consideration is the court's calendar and those prosecutors' calendars. You know, this probably isn't the only trial that the Commonwealth has coming up, and it's probably not the only case that Alan Jackson's working on, and the court has, you know, numerous other probably criminal and civil matters on its docket. So I think it really, you know, is going to come down to scheduling. As long as this trial was, you know, clearing that much time on a court calendar probably is going to take, just that by itself, I think, would take a little bit of time. And then, you know, depending on which prosecutor is going to try it and if Alan Jackson's staying on it. If you get new defense counsel, I don't think it's happening anytime soon, because I'm guessing there's quite a bit to get through, and they're not going to try this case off the cuff. You know, they're going to want to take their time and do it right.
Just some more developments. I'm not sure what this is here.
Judge Cannoni, despite our rigorous efforts, we continue to find ourselves at an impasse. Our perspectives on the evidence are starkly divided. Some members of the jury firmly believe that the evidence surpasses the burden of proof, establishing the elements of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Conversely, others find the evidence fails to meet this standard and does not sufficiently establish the necessary elements of the charges. The deep division is not due to a lack of effort or diligence, but rather a sincere adherence to our individual principles and moral convictions. To continue to deliberate would be futile and only serve to force us to compromise these deeply held beliefs. I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your service is complete. I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
That's still the most well-written and most articulate juror note of all time.
It is. So, Kurt, speak to us about that. I mean, that has got to be either someone highly educated. Keep in mind, we've got Harvard and MIT there, an attorney. Yep. But speak to us about that statement.
It's just their word choice and using words like futile and talking about their diligence. It's like they're hitting basically all the legal benchmarks. It's like, we've deliberated. It's not due to lack of trying. We've given it everything. It would be futile to persist. We'd have to compromise our morals. This was drafted by an attorney. Well done. 10 out of 10.
To the COE, if you're listening, I'm going to just talk to you for 1 sec. At 4 o'clock COE, we should flip over, I think, to the scheduled
Yeah.
plan.
I'm surprised
that we
it
had
didn't
early-
include citations in there. That's the only thing that could make it better.
Terry Austin is joining us, bright legal mind. Terry, what do you make of the mistrial here from a bird's eye perspective?
You know, I was not surprised because it was taking them so long, and there's so many variables in this case. I've been following it since the very beginning. So many witnesses, so many weeks, so much evidence. I did think it was going to be very difficult. I did think it was going to be very difficult for that jury to come to a unanimous decision one way or the other. And I agree with your guest that, in fact, that note had to have been written by the attorney. I think it was well done. Judge Cannoni had no choice after reading that note to say, look, this is a mistrial. I've already done the, charge where I've told you to go back in there. She actually told them that twice. And now with this note, I think it was the right decision. I think you should not force a jury to have to come to a unanimous conclusion if, in fact, there are some people, from a matter of principle, that don't want to change their thoughts or their ideas or their opinions. And frankly, that should have been caught during jury selection, but it's really hard to tell if a juror is so convicted that they don't think that they can come to some sort of conclusion. So I do, expect that they are going to come at it. I don't think it's going to take too long for them to all get together to prosecute this case again. I think the defense is ready to go.
And Terry, speaking about the defense being ready to go, I don't know if you know this, but the Commonwealth has already publicly stated they plan to retry this. So what do you make of that? That they had a statement obviously prepared, ready to go, but they are doing this again. At least it appears today that that's the case. Does that surprise you?
That doesn't actually. And, I do get surprised a lot by a lot of things. But one of the things as a prosecutor I would do, and I'm defense oriented, not prosecution oriented, but one of the things that I would do is come right out and say, yes, I plan to do this again. And you can always change your mind. That's the thing. You can't come out and say, no, I'm not going to prosecute it. You can come out and say, I need more time. Or you can come out and say, yes, we're definitely going to prosecute it. And then you can get the evidence that you need. If you think you need more evidence, you can talk to the other side. You may come to a compromise. I don't think that's going to happen here. But I do think it makes sense to come out and say, yes, we're going to go right back after this. And we think we have a good case. And we definitely don't want to waste any time. And again, they're not etched in stone. Frankly, I think the defense did an excellent job here. I definitely think they caused a ton of reasonable doubt. What does surprise me is that we don't know the number, but I would think a lot of people had reasonable doubt. I would really like to know, I hope some of the jurors come out. I'd really like to know how many jurors had reasonable doubt, because I think the defense did an excellent job of creating some reasonable doubt here.
By the way, I did not know this. Apparently, there are also 2 lawyers as well as retired law enforcement on the jury. Not sure if that's confirmed, but ICU is telling us that, which is interesting because then that would make sense with this language. There's actually some stunning video. I don't know how else to say this coming out. That COE, I texted this to you. I would love for you to put this in as an element for the 4 o'clock show. But as Paul O'Keefe, Rob D'Amico, this one's for you. As Paul O'Keefe, the brother of John O'Keefe, is leaving court today in a very cramped courtroom, he very visibly and audibly says something to Karen Reed, and Karen Reed snaps back at him immediately, and she looks like it's like the death stare coming out of her, but he didn't look pleased at all. I don't think it's any secret that Paul O'Keefe believes Karen Reed is responsible for this death, but I'm watching this video on a loop, and even David Yannetti kind of looked back, and Karen Reed again barked something back at him. What about that? What do you make of this? This is now the victim's family going after the defendant, and the defendant barking back.
Well, it's emotional. Like I said, he has high emotions. He truly believes she killed his brother. She gets what he sees as a win for now. He's emotional. I think her emotions came out too. Like it was a win, but it's not a win. She still, is in the same predicament as before. So emotions come out. He snaps something, and she offhandedly does that right back. Obviously, she was probably coached a little bit, like, hey, look, no matter what happens, you can't do that. But it's easier said than done. This is something that is just been building and building. And you look at everyone thinks they're going to get what they want out of it. He thinks she's going to get convicted. She thinks she's going to get acquitted. And then it doesn't happen after how many weeks, and the pressure gets up there. So it's just human emotion. I bet Karen regrets whatever, the look she gave. She probably wanted something not that, but it is what it is. And, it's people's lives. So for anyone to say, oh, that, they shouldn't, either of them shouldn't have done that. Well, you're not there. You're not in their shoes.
I was seeing some.
Looks like
here
when
we
you
go.
bring false charges against an innocent person. The Commonwealth did their worst. They brought the weight of the state based on spurious charges, based on compromised investigation and investigators and compromised witnesses. This is what it looks like. And guess what? They failed. They failed miserably, and they'll continue to fail. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long they keep trying, we will not stop fighting. We have no quit.
Let's watch that again. This is obviously Alan Jackson on the steps of the Norfolk County Courthouse. You see David Yannetti on his left, and Karen Reed on his right. Other way around. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
other way around.
dyslexic. I'm not really dyslexic, but I screwed that up. Here's Alan Jackson once again.
Folks, this is what it looks like when you bring false charges against an innocent person. The Commonwealth did their worst. They brought the weight of the state based on spurious charges, based on compromised investigation and investigators and compromised witnesses. This is what it looks like. And guess what? They failed. They failed miserably, and they'll continue to fail. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long they keep trying, we will not stop fighting. We have no quit.
Tim Jansen, I think you're muted, so let me unmute you. You're a criminal defense attorney in high-profile cases. Did he hit the right note here?
He did. He did the same thing the prosecutor did. We're ready to go. We're innocent. You're never going to win. We're going to keep fighting. You had a bad case. You had questionable witnesses, and we're going to win again. And we're not going to stop fighting. So he's sending the signal, too, that he's on. Now, I don't know if he's going to be on, but he's sending the signal he's going to be on for his client.
And I am hearing, by the way, that the defense was paid upwards of $1 million, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's $400,000 in a fund for Karen Reed's, I guess, future defense or part of this defense. So that's interesting. Terry Austin, to you, everyone bashed ADA Lally. I mean, the guy was pretty much everyone's punching bag. But does he deserve some credit here on this day? Because he didn't lose either. This was not a loss for the Commonwealth. Everyone assumed it would be a huge loss for the Commonwealth. And again, a mistrial declared. So can he claim victory the same way the defense is in this instance?
Well, I think what he has to claim is we're back to zero. It's not a win or a loss, it's a draw. And he has an opportunity to go back here and gather up the evidence and organize it in such a way that a jury will have to say, yes, she's guilty. And a jury will have to say, I have no doubt. The problem here was, I don't think Lally was able to confront all of the various different scenarios that the defense presented. And since they didn't do that, I think the jury was really lost. They had a ton of reasonable doubt. How did it happen? Was he hit by the car? Did a dog knock him over or scratch him up and he hit his head and he died? Was it in a fight with one of the Alberts? What really happened here? And if you have a case, and at the end of the day, the prosecution hasn't told that story, the prosecution hasn't proven to the jury how it happened, I am not at all shocked that it's a mistrial. And as a matter of fact, when you have that much reasonable doubt, you are supposed to acquit. And what they did here is, they essentially said, we can't come to a consensus. And maybe it was so divergent. It sounds like so many people had no doubt. A certain other number of people did have some doubt. And at the end of the day, they had to call that mistrial that the lead juror wrote so nicely on that note. And the judge had no choice but to say, yes, I am now declaring this a mistrial. But Lally has an opportunity here, Steve. He has an opportunity to win the next time he goes at it.
And Sky, I want to get your take on that in just 1 second. Sky's sitting obviously with the AC on, but she's in very hot Utah, so we're going to let her go in a little bit. But COE, to you, I know you're handling this behind the scenes. Sorry to talk about production stuff on air. At 4 o'clock, COE, when we have a new set of guests coming in, I think we should do our original plan. We should do our original plan, COE, and switch over for a new slate for a new show. I just don't know what's going on with you behind the scenes and with Steve in terms of notifying our guests, but I will let you handle that. Meanwhile, if you rewatch the mistrial being declared, John O'Keefe's family is crying and wiping away tears. This is a hard day for the victim's family. There isn't justice for John O'Keefe. Rob D'Amico, you're the sole civilian here. And you're not even a civilian, you're a quasi-civilian, but you're not an attorney, is what I mean. You're talking about the emotions. COE, if you can also just pull up that video of Paul O'Keefe's having words with Karen Reed, that would be interesting for everyone to see. We will get that.
I think we talked about it. I think the last statement, you want your lawyer to be up there being boisterous about winning. I thought she looked a little smug. I thought she should have just had that plain look, like, she can't win either way, as just that nodding and everything else. And I think I saw some of it in the comments. She should have just let him take that boisterous stand because it's a lawyer. That's his job. But she went ahead and just some of the nodding and everything else I thought is going to be taken wrongly. She still can be tried. So she still has to literally look at everything she's doing and how it's perceived.
Thank you. And Kurt, with Uncivil Law, should the prosecution here use this is obviously a premature question, but I'm getting at a bigger point here. If there is a retrial here, this gives a chance to both sides. The question is, should the Commonwealth use a reconstruction expert with diagrams, etc.? What do both sides do in terms of making their case stronger? Does that include better graphics, new witnesses, all these things that they think may have helped them in the first trial?
The only thing I can recommend really for the defense is just basically more. If you had to find a point of fault, I don't think that they have to prove anything. I don't think they should have to prove anything, but it could be just as simple as, well, the Commonwealth presented a much longer case and therefore it must be better, which of course doesn't make sense. But from a legal perspective, if I go on for a year, it doesn't mean that I am saying anything for that year. But I think the defense probably would be advised to just take longer for the sake of taking longer, just to emphasize the point about the problems. I think a reconstruction expert for the state makes a lot of sense because our only alternative is Trooper Paul, and as good as he is with his associate's degree, perhaps we could do better. Maybe, who knows? So those would be my recommendations. And I think otherwise it was basically the opening for the defense was perfect. Their close was perfect, especially given the constraints that they had in terms of time. They did a very good job of illustrating it. The prosecution could probably use someone else other than Lally, so I don't have to hear that same droning voice forever. It would be nice. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. But other than that, I think I'll bow out and thank you for letting me join on.
Thank you, Kurt Mueller with Uncivil Law. Check out his channel if you haven't already. Appreciate it, Kurt. Appreciate you coming on in a pinch. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, guys, we're back. Guess who's back? Back again. Uncivil's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Nah. All right, so we play a little bit more Zelda, and maybe wrap up the stream, just to you know, end the day. Little Zelda decompression time. Haven't won the wager yet? Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna chase you down for $10. Is it normal scheduled status meeting? Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. Yeah, that's normal. Nothing there. So we can figure out what's going on and what we're gonna do. Yeah. Will it be tried under a new judge? Probably not. Same judge would be your expectation. No, this isn't the first Zelda game. This is Link to the Past. I think it's the third Zelda game. As a former cop allowed, there's no reason to prohibit it, not categorically. Watch out for music copyright, too late. They already demonetized my stream because I'm using the music. What happens to the FBI investigation? They continue doing whatever they're doing. The FBI isn't dependent on anyone. They can just keep doing what they're doing. Yeah, the FBI doesn't have to hold off. The Department of Justice might, but the FBI won't. You know, the DOJ may or may not bring charges to prevent from interfering with the state prosecution, but that's the U.S. Attorney's call. You need chocolate? I understand. I understand and appreciate that need. However, I have no means to supply that need. If you come over to my house, I do have some nice chocolate options actually right now. So I can provide you chocolate, but sadly you are not here for me to provide you chocolate with. It's very, very sad. All right, I got my net finally. All right. I'll be amazed if a juror doesn't come out and speak on this issue because it's just so messed up. Link to the Past is best Zelda? That's what I say. I say it's best Zelda. I agree. Oops. The original was the best? Okay. Some hardcore OG. Alright, I got myself the mirror, baby. Alright. Getting pelted by rocks here. Now I can't make progress because the damn thing's in the way. I can't cross because I don't have the hook shot. Okay. You kind of prefer the second one? And Grand Pooh Bear, who's a big streamer, says he really likes the second one. He hadn't played it, you know, until he was older, and he said he really likes it. So there's a contingent out here that definitely likes Legend of Zelda 2. I haven't played it, you know, since I was, you know, a child, so I don't remember liking it very much. What am I trying to do now? Say thanks to Mr. Uncivil. I did a lot of digging for someone to follow this case. I've been really happy. I'm glad. It's very kind. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed being with me. Anytime someone chooses me as a streamer to follow, it's like, you know, I succeeded a little bit that day. Thank you for the 142,000 of you who are currently subscribed. 150,000 pretty soon, man. Now I have to remember how to get up the mountain. It's been a while. Did you go in here? I think it's like it's been so long. I have to send an invite for 4 swords. Now it can be played online. Okay. What do I do? It's been so long since I played this. Like, I can't remember what to do. Bum bum. Bum bum. 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 I'm back at his house. Just went back around in a big circle. Final Fantasy 3 was great. Final Fantasy 2 was great. I've never played Final Fantasy 3 all the way through. So that could be something we could do online. We'd be like playing Final Fantasy 3 all the way through. Because that's Final Fantasy 6, right? Which I hear is like really, really good. A lot of people really like it as their favorite. Yeah, Final Fantasy 2 with Cecil and Kane. Great. Just awesome. Now I don't know where I'm going. I'm completely lost. Let's double Final Fantasy 2. It's great. Great game. Have the Pixel remaster? I've heard the difficulty curve on the Pixel remaster is kind of fucked up. So I've heard like I've heard things about the Pixel remaster not being like correct and like the difficulty curve being fucked up. So maybe I'll just play the original and not have to worry about it, you know? Oh, the Japanese Final Fantasy 2. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the SNES Final Fantasy 2, which is Final Fantasy 4. Okay, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Never mind. Carry on. Three /6 is impressive. 2/4 is impressive. 7 was a graphical leap, but not much leap otherwise. Yeah, fair. Although they did a remake of 7, the big ass remaster or remake, so a lot of fans really like 7. I've heard good things about the remake of 7. All right, what am I trying to do? It's like, I'm confused. What am I trying to do? I'm lost. I thought there was like a ladder I'm supposed to climb somewhere. I just can't find it. No. Chrono Trigger? Chrono Trigger's okay. Was never one of my favorites though. So, yeah, for me, it's like Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross were never one of my favorites. You think I'd like it more too because it's got the time travel mechanism, which I like, but it just never did it for me. All right, so what am I supposed to be doing here? So it's not there. But that doesn't go anywhere. So we come here. And it's not over here. I talked about immunity. We can talk about it again if you want. We talked about it on the stream this morning, which I had to delete. But a bit legally confusing because the Supreme Court was so vague. This is the right one. This is the right letter up. Yeah, okay, why couldn't I find this initially? Damn. But yeah, the Supreme Court is so vague about the right test to use. So we're doing the Dark World thing. Is that what we're doing now? Secret of Mana was cool. There we go. There we go. Yeah, now I'm getting there. I don't have the Master Sword yet, so I can't do that yet. Okay. Right, later. Let's go. Alright. This one The reaction to Descent makes me feel like he was clearer. I don't know, man. I read it a couple times. And I was lost. I haven't read the dissent though, so maybe somehow in the dissent things make more sense. I don't know. I'm interested to see how the dissent deals with the concern about the parade of horribles the other way around. Do they have an answer for it or not? Would be an interesting thing. Like, is the dissent worried at all about if presidents can be charged, that will just wind up in an endless series of charges for political reasons? So I'm concerned if they deal with that problem at all in there, because that's a big problem. Roberts thinks he was being clear, but everyone other than Roberts is confused. Sounds about right. Map. Nice. Okay. Now what? I'm tired. Charge the operators to see what happens. Yeah. But Baldwin is next up on the agenda. To what extent has Link been deputized to go rescue Zelda? You know, the legal issues here. I don't know, man. legal issues are if you get the king back in power, then you win. Legal issues. Yeah, there's. Is Link a governmental actor? If so, the Fifth Amendment applies. But if he's a governmental actor, is there an immunity question there? I mean, it is public necessity, so Fifth Amendment might be not that big a deal. Public necessity doctrine. So, yeah, arguably, even if he's not employed by the government, he's doing it for the purpose of getting the king back, so there might be a public necessity argument, which means that he would have no liability. And as for criminal law, well, you know, if you get the king back on the throne, I don't think he's going to really care very much how you got him there. So, yeah, I guess it's might makes right legal. Link is military. That's a nice idea there, too. Ganon is a foreign power. Yeah, I feel it. What about the FBI investigation? I don't think the FBI has very much interest in what's going on in the Hyrule Kingdom. Do not touch. The FBI is going to do what the FBI is going to do. That's the answer to that question. There's no immediate resolution, and who knows if, what, when, if ever, there will be anything that's done by the DOJ. Who can say? Product liability for the floor guy, yeah, I mean, for sure, 100%. It's a spring gun trap, right? Because it's an automated trap, so it's a spring gun. No, yeah, that's you're going to be guilty of murder on that one, man. Reckless homicide. It's not good, man. Not good. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, so are these blue orby things autonomous? Are they monsters? So, do they have liability in and of themselves? Can I sue the blue crystal ball looking things? Or are they like animals and I sue basically for strict liability for allowing your animals to get out and injure me? So do they have will of their own? Unclear questions. Unclear. I'm pretty sure Ganon is guilty of some crimes, though. If you're guilty of regicide, press 1. If If you know the name of the monarch that you're attempting to dispose or eliminate, press 1. If I could give a TED Talk about anything, what would it be? I don't know, that's a good question. Something about loving law would be nice. About viewing the law as a work of the art of law or something like that would be cool. Just talk about how law is an accumulated wisdom and how it should be appreciated as an artistic thing. I think that'd be cool. The artistic beauty of law maybe could be the TED Talk. And just talk about how law is an art, which it kind of is. It's basically 800 years of people painting the same, painting a common thing. That would appeal to those snobs. They'd like that kind of shit. Ten out of 10 TED Talk. They love it. Alright, Moon Pearl. Alright. Let's do this thing. Alright, I can do this. I can do this. Nice. That was easier than I expected. Nice. To talk about the Triforce. Just listen to that music, baby. Just listen to that music. You're here for it. You got a shroom, baby. There we go, baby. Let's go. Suddenly, Sarah Charlotte contacts you. Uncivil. It's extraordinary that you won the Master Sword that makes evil retreat. With this shining sword, I believe you can deflect the wizard's evil powers. The destiny of this land is in your hands. Please, Uncivil. Sweet. Alright guys, that's going to conclude our stream for today. I have gotten the Master Sword. I have accomplished my objective. And we're gonna end the stream. Karen Reed, Karen Reed is well, you know, there's still the whatever. And we'll be back with more coverage, I guess, at some point. So I'm gonna sign off for now. I will talk to you later. Cheers for now, my friends, and goodbye.